How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. Hope you all had a great weekend, had some nice time off, but are ready to get back to it because today we're going to talk about a bunch of stocks I'm looking at this week. I want to recap what happened last week in the markets, and we're going to talk about some very big things to watch out for this upcoming week. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your coffee. Feel free to go down below, get 2 free stocks from Webull. Those are valued up to $1,600. Literally, all you have to do is use my link, deposit $100, and you get 2 free stocks. And full disclosure, I also get 2 free stocks since it is an affiliate link. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. So last week, if you guys missed it, we did hit an all-time high. Well, we hit, I think, Thursday and Friday, but actually, no, Friday we didn't hit an all-time high. We got super close to hitting another one, but Thursday we did. You guys can see here we ended up hitting a fresh all-time high on SPY at 424.63, and that translates over, let's see the S&P index, what that ended up going to for that all-time high, 4249.74. And you guys can see we ended up hitting a pretty big resistance on Friday. We hit that same level of all-time high from Thursday. We struggled at that point on Friday, right at market open. You guys can see SPX hit that level, sold off a bit, and we ended up rallying into the close. We saw a very nice move into the close here in the S&P and the NASDAQ and the Dow for that matter. And you guys can see this looks like an ascending triangle the way we're forming here on the 5-day, 5-minute. You can see that. And if I pull up SPY, it's probably easier to see that. Look at this. We're making higher lows the past couple of days, but like I said, we are hitting a wall at that all-time high from Thursday. So for today and for tomorrow, the whole week, quite frankly, I want to see if we end up taking out this resistance. I want to see if the ascending triangle here on the 5-day, 5-minute ends up panning out. And when you're watching this video, currently it's 10:20 a.m. on the East Coast, but when you're watching this video, the futures market will be open. So let me know in the comments down below. Are we gapping up, gapping down? Are the futures flat? Because that's going to tell us a pretty good story, at least to how maybe the markets could start off on Monday. And sure, the futures don't always paint the best picture because sometimes futures are up on Sunday night, then all of a sudden you wake up Monday morning and they're down. But let's say futures are up Sunday and we wake up tomorrow morning and they're still up. Well, that's going to be a good sign that we are probably going to push up for all-time highs and the ascending triangle is going to pan out. So watch out for that on SPY, and I actually have my alert right at the all-time highs here at $424.63. So we'll see if that ends up breaking. And for QQQ, this one, I feel like, and there's no guarantees, guys, as always, but I feel like this could hit all-time highs this week, maybe even tomorrow or on Tuesday. That's very possible, in my opinion, considering we broke out of 339 last week. That was the big resistance stemming back from the middle of February, and we actually closed above it. We closed above 339, 340, and 341 for that matter. So we're about $1 and some change away from all-time highs at this point on QQQ. And by the way, this tracks the NASDAQ 100 for any new viewers out there that maybe don't know that. And that's about like I said, about $1 and some change, or about 0.4%. So that is not much at all, considering whenever the markets do well, for the most part, QQQ does outperform since it is a tech-heavy index or a tech-heavy ETF, which tracks the tech-heavy index, right? And usually these tech stocks do very well when the markets are green overall. So those are some key spots I'm watching on QQQ and on SPY. And this week we have some big events coming up. We have the FOMC meeting. That is the Federal Open Market Committee meeting, if you guys didn't know what FOMC stands for, and that will take place on June 15th through 16th. So it's a 2-day meeting, Tuesday into Wednesday, right? We're going to have Powell speak, Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve. We're going to have that good old Q&A session, and we're going to be covering that here on the channel. So make sure you guys subscribe, and we're going to see any changes to monetary policy, any thoughts about inflation, and that's pretty much what everybody is watching. Whether you're a retail investor, a professional investor, you have $10 million, $100 billion, $500. You're watching this meeting this week because he's going to talk about the Fed in general. They're going to talk about tweaks in forecasts for inflation potentially, maybe interest rates. We'll see how that ends up going down. And that, of course, fluctuates the market, whether it's to the upside or the downside. And us as traders, we have to watch that. We have to pay attention to it because we are technical traders, right? And we are long-term investors as well. I know my channel has a mix of traders and investors, and it's important for both of us, let's be honest, whether you're a trader or an investor, because your decision lies upon interest rates. It lies upon inflation. A lot of your investment decisions, at least in the short term, at least for me, I don't want to speak for everybody, but that's just what I'm thinking, right? And this is also the Fed. They're also going to release the Industrial Production Index data, which measures production and capacity in manufacturing, mining, and other industries on Tuesday. So like I said, 15th through 16th, this is where we're going to see the two-day meeting. And typically he speaks, Jerome Powell that is, on the second day, and the Q&A is on the second day, or maybe I'm wrong, but usually that's the way it is. And it's usually at about 2 p.m. on the East Coast. So watch out for that for this upcoming week. And without further ado, let's talk about some stocks that I'm looking at. And we don't have many earnings this week. Earnings are slowing down, but just when they're slowing down, a couple weeks goes by and it's earnings season again. That's how the market is. But as of now, earnings are slowing down, and we have Oracle this week, which is the number one stock that I'm personally looking out for, ticker symbol ORCL. And this has been on an absolute tear from $55 back in November all the way to over $80 now in the beginning of June 2021. And is that an all-time high? I have to double check on you guys. Let me see. Oh, of course it is. Of course it is, guys. Come on. A lot of these stocks are at all-time highs right now. Oracle is no different. And looking at this 20-year chart, you might ask yourself, isn't this overbought? The truth is, yes, it is. The RSI is off the page. You know, we're super above the moving averages. And in the grand scheme of things, I would like Oracle to probably retest that 50 moving average here on the 20-year chart, which does put it at about $55-$60. So that is a pretty big drop from where we are now, about 30% of a drop. But focusing more on the 4-hour chart to see if we can get a quick in and out type of trade, you guys can see Oracle is about $2-3 off of the highs right now. In fact, we got a very big drop on Thursday. It dropped about 4%, which is a pretty big drop considering Oracle is a multi-billion-dollar company, multi-billion-dollar company. And the way I'm seeing this right now, and I personally really like this, is we are maintaining the 50 moving average here. We actually held that on Thursday at close, and we held it on Friday, and we rallied on Friday, and we're actually seeing a move higher. We saw a move higher in the after hours on Friday. We went up about 1% on Friday, and this is all on the 4-hour time frame, guys. So by the looks of it, bulls ended up excuse me, guys, bulls ended up stepping in and buying this dip and pushing it higher. So I want to see if this continues to rally into earnings. And again, we have earnings, or actually, I didn't even mention this. Earnings are in 2 days on the 15th. So that's on Tuesday. So I'm watching this on Monday closely to see if we do fill that gap to all-time highs at $85. Maybe we see that little 2-3% move to that point before earnings. And of course, I want to see EPS. I want to see guidance. I want to see the revenue numbers. And I want to see what the management team has to say, because all this stuff is going to fluctuate the stock in the short term. So as long as we're holding that 50 moving average here on the 4-hour chart, I think this is in play. But the second, and I'm talking the second, we break under the 50 SMA, we break under $81 per share, this does have potential to go down to the mid to high 70s, which quite honestly, looking back on that 20-hour or 20-year chart rather, that could start that little pullback, and we might be able to even buy that pullback after we reevaluate the stock after they end up reporting earnings. So watch out for Oracle, ticker symbol ORCL. Texas Roadhouse, although I've never eaten here, and a lot of people tell me Stas Texas Roadhouse is amazing. I think there's one about 20-30 miles away from where I live. I have to go check it out, but I'm honestly not going to drive 30 miles to eat at Texas Roadhouse, guys. But if it's on my way, if I'm traveling somewhere and I see it, I'm going to make it my mission to eat at Texas Roadhouse. But this stock, I'm watching it closely. You know, it's down about $12 from the high. And by the way, let me know in the comments if you guys have eaten at Texas Roadhouse. Let me know if it's good. And while you're at it, you might as well just smash that like button if you all are enjoying the video so far. But as in terms of the stock, we can see, like I said, it's down about $12-13, down about 10%. So it has shaved off a good amount of value. 10% is no joke. I mean, it's not like a little 2% pullback. It's a 10% pullback. And we're noticing how Texas Roadhouse has gotten itself in a wedge. We're making lower highs, but at the same time, we're making higher lows. And as of Friday's close, we ended up holding above those moving averages. That's a pretty good sign that we want to fight and maybe get out of the wedge and potentially see a break back up above $100 per share. And that's exactly what I'm personally looking for if I do want to go long on this, at least in the short term. We're talking maybe a 1, 2, 3 week swing trade, maybe a month swing trade or something like that. I'd want to see a break out of here. So I'm going to put an alert at $100 on Texas Roadhouse. And I thought this company was reporting this week. Maybe. Actually, no, that's the next company we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to put $100 here. Mark is at or above on Texas Roadhouse. Watch out for that break. And from there, and mind you guys, $100, that was a sticking point all throughout March, into April, and almost into May a little bit, and in May a little bit as well. So yeah, we got to break 100 from there. I think this could be in the breakout stock category, or the breakout stock watch list, whatever you want to call it. And the next stock here, which does report earnings this week, this company reports, is Kroger, ticker symbol KR. And this is a grocery chain, and like Texas Roadhouse, admittedly, guys, I've never shopped at Kroger. I'm more of a Trader Joe's kind of guy. I like Trader Joe's. I shop at Wegmans as well. Those are my two go-tos. I don't know if you guys have a Wegmans by you, but those are my two go-tos. And speaking on the stock here, we're seeing a nice breakout. Look at this. We're breaking out of the ascending triangle. We're seeing a golden cross as well. The 50s crossing above the 180 SMA here on the 4-hour chart. And this company reports on the 17th. So what is that? On Thursday. So about 4 days from now. And like I said, we broke out of the sticking point, which was at about $38. That was the sticking point from the end of March into April, into May, and into June a little bit. So we broke out of there, and we also momentarily broke out of the $39 high from the middle of May last week, but we didn't hold it. So for this upcoming week leading into earnings, I want to see A, if we hold 38, which as of now we are, and B, do we end up breaking out of 39? If we take out 39, the high from back in the middle of May, I'm thinking Kroger, ticker symbol KR, this could end up being a breakout play into earnings, and especially if earnings are solid. I mean, look at what happened the past earnings report. We ended up going from $32 and we started pushing all the way close to $40. And does that necessarily mean that that's going to happen again just because last earnings were a good earnings report for the stock? No, it doesn't necessarily mean that, but we are going to be watching it. And if 38 breaks, let's say we dump under 38, Don't be surprised if this goes mid-30s, which could also open up a decent window to maybe add some shares, and we're going to reevaluate it there and monitor it from there. And of course, I'll update you guys throughout the week as these companies do end up reporting earnings. So watch out for KR. This is Kroger, like I said. Urban Outfitters, URBN. We talked about this one recently. I'm going to mention it again in this video because this one, I don't want to miss it, and I don't want you guys to miss it. Although I don't give financial advice, you must always do your own research. But looking at Urban Outfitters, it's not even a tongue twister. Anyway, Urban Outfitters, guys, right? This went up 1.5% on Friday, and I have two alerts set here, one at $39.50 and the other one at $42. And this one, it's interesting. This one's also in a wedge. We're making higher lows, also making lower highs, and we've been super choppy. Look at the choppiness on this stock. Talk about choppiness, guys. I mean, this was hovering from $40 as resistance, $35 as support over the past 2-3 months. It's been very choppy, moving back and forth, and now we're finally retesting $39.50, about $40 again. And who knows, this could easily get rejected again, go back down to the mid-30s, and we might see the choppiness continue, but I'm waiting for the break because I think it's coming, whether it's tomorrow, next week, a month from now. I don't know when it's coming, but I believe it's coming. And like I said, I don't want to miss it. I want to be ready for it. So if $39.50 breaks, we take out those highs, we get into 40. Now we're talking a move to $42, maybe followed by the mid-40s, which I believe on this stock, that's not all-time highs. It's not. We can see the high from back in June of 2018, so 3 years ago. That was at $52.50. So I'm thinking we break 42. There's a big move up to $47 on Urban Outfitters, followed by $52 per share. And this is arguably a reopening stock. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, oh, I looked at the fundamentals and I can tell you for sure this company is going to do better as the economy opens, because I don't know, quite frankly. Maybe they've been doing super well with online sales, but I'm assuming with the physical locations that are reopening across the U.S. at this point, I mean, they've been reopened. I feel like the next couple of quarters could end up being better, being better from the disaster that we saw over the past year and a half with what sweeping across the world. So, yeah, I guess you could argue this is a reopening stock, and you must watch it, in my opinion. Ticker symbol URBN. So, a couple other ones here. Adobe ADBE. We called this one out on Patreon, which, by the way, if you want to check out the Patreon, that's linked down below. I do all my buys, my sells, my call-outs on Patreon, and I do a morning update video every single day. Check that out, link down below, or you guys can go to stocksurfs.com/Patreon. We called this one out on Patreon, and now it's completely overbought. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It's completely overbought. We hit a high of 546. I believe that is an all-time high. Yes, it is, guys. It's an all-time high here on Adobe. And wow, it went up another $5 after hours on Friday. So this one is reporting on, what day is this reporting on? I think the 17th. Yeah, so 4 days from now on Thursday. And maybe the stock is moving in anticipation of the earnings. Maybe not. I don't know. But overall, I think we're going to end up falling back down to about 520, maybe even low 500s to about 510, which is where I'd consider picking up this stock on the dip. Here, I mean, the way it is now, super overbought, I wouldn't chase it. I'm being quite honest. I would not chase it, but if we break 540, we fill the gap down to 520, which is where we were a couple days ago. That is where I'm going to start considering maybe picking this up. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what guidance looks like, EPS, revenue, all that good stuff. But as of now, not rushing into it. We're just watching it, keeping it on the watch list. Hence why it's called watch list. It's not the buy list or the must buy list or whatever. It's the watch list, right? And PayPal is another one I'm looking at, PYPL. This one is not really overbought. I mean, yes, I guess it is our size at 70, but way more oversold compared to Adobe, considering this one's still about $40 off the all-time highs. It's down about 13% from the all-time highs. And what we're noticing here on PayPal is the golden cross, 50s crossing above the 180 SMA. We're trading well above the moving averages, and now we're actually about to test those highs from the middle of April. Middle of April being at around 275, 280. That is where we struggled back in April. So I feel like if we fail at 280 today, or not today, some point this week, yes, we might retrace a bit back to about 260, maybe 265. Sure, that could happen. But if we squeeze out of 280, 277, I'll put my alert right there so I could be ready for it. This could be one that does very well in the short term. Don't be surprised if we end up testing those highs again, especially if we do see, and it really comes down to the FOMC meeting, guys. Let's be honest. If we get good news in terms of inflation, the what's it called here? The forecast for inflation rates and so forth. Although inflation, it's not looking great, but if Powell somehow eases the market, cuts the tension a bit, these stocks could do well. And you guys have to understand, tech stocks, the more growth-oriented companies, they benefit more when there is lower rates. So if the rates stay low, if the forecast is for rates to stay low, that benefits growth companies. That really does benefit them, and that is where we could see an explosion in the NASDAQ 100 and QQQ, like I was saying earlier in the video, maybe to all-time highs, and that will likely push up stocks like PayPal, stocks like Square, stocks like Amazon, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth, right? So watch out for PayPal here. And the last one, how could I not mention this, guys? I want to refresh you all on this, although we did talk about this on Friday. AMC, ticker symbol AMC, right? And this is one that everybody's watching, everybody and their grandmas on YouTube making videos on AMC. And I figured, guys, I'm not making too many videos on this because everyone's flooding the algorithm with AMC videos, but I'm still going to mention this in the stock videos, the daily updates here, because it's very popular and there's ridiculous amount of volume. We had 220 million on Friday. I believe we got up to 700 million on this day. It was ridiculous. Let's just put it that way. It was ridiculous a couple days ago, and the stock is not really showing any signs of it's losing steam. Quite frankly, if it breaks out of $50, it could regain some steam here. And sure, it's been consolidating, it's been choppy the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trading days. But what do you expect? This stock was literally $11 less than a month ago. It went from 11 to 77. So we're seeing choppiness because it's gone up so much. This is normal. It's really normal. And there's obviously manipulation going on. The short interest is arguably very high still, and it's bound to squeeze again, in my opinion. It's bound to squeeze, and Friday's price action showed that. It went up 15%. And I told you all, I'll probably end up buying some shares if we break above 52, 55. We'll see. So I'm going to put an alert, let's say at $52 here on AMC. If we break out of there, watch for a move up to 60. That was the high point from the 7th of June, also the 8th of June. If 60 breaks, we might be going $68, which was the high from the beginning of June. And dare I say, break 68, we go to 77. Hey, that is very possible. So watch out for this one, guys. Watch out for all of these stocks. Let me recap what we talked about. Oracle, Texas Roadhouse, Kroger, Urban Outfitters, Adobe, PayPal, and AMC. These are what, 7? Yeah, 7 stocks that I'm watching right now. And of course, watch out for that FOMC meeting. I'm telling you guys. So what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe and go down below and get yourself into the Patreon if you want to. If you want my real-time buys, sells, call-outs, morning update videos, more access to me throughout the day. All of that's on Patreon, or you can go to stocksurfest.com/Patreon, or simply go down below and check out the link, and you can get some free money from Webull, 2 free stocks with a $100 deposit, and $30 from M1 Finance, also with a $100 deposit, and all of those are linked right down below. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for tuning in again. As always, keep crushing the markets. Stay safe out there, guys, and don't FOMO. FOMO is dangerous stuff here, guys. But yeah, keep crushing the markets. Thanks again for tuning in. Peace out.